Please help me to stop drinking so much. Every evening, I have 2, sometimes 3 drinks. I always tell myself I won't do it again, and then I do. 1 is never enough. Sometimes 2 is enough, but sometimes not. I don't have a clue how to stop. Please help. That's what we're talking about in this video. I'm Iris Siriani. I'm a self-love coach, a spiritual mentor, and an aftercare coach for people transitioning home from a treatment program. I completely understand what this person is talking about. I had the same problem. And for me, it revolved around 2 things. The first thing is that I was really lonely and I felt really isolated, and I was ashamed of how much I was drinking. I was going through a particularly difficult time in my life, and the strangeness about alcohol is that number 1, it's a depressant, which doesn't help the loneliness. Number 2, the more we drink, the more we self-isolate. If we don't have people to drink with us and we haven't uncovered the reasons why we're drinking so much and abusing alcohol, we will drink alone. And so together with the shame that we feel from drinking so much, the isolation that it creates, the separation that it creates, and how that all leads to feeling lonely and isolated, that starts a repetitive cycle in that we don't want to feel lonely. We don't want to feel so isolated. So that was one of the things for me. The other thing for me is that I had developed a habit, the habit of drinking after work. So I would come home from work or at the end of my day, and I would pour myself a glass of wine. And I would drink that really quickly. It's like when you're super thirsty and you drink it really quickly to quench your thirst. That's what I did with that first glass of wine. And then I topped it up. And then I made some dinner. And then as I was cooking dinner for myself, I would have more wine. So that glass of wine was always topped up. By the time I finished dinner, I was already in that zone of feeling light and airy and really feeling no pain at all. So what did I do? I drank some more. And then during the night, of course, I would wake up with night sweats and that racing heart and the guilt that I felt for drinking so much, because I didn't want to drink that much, but I was using the alcohol for a reason. Because I didn't want to feel so lonely, because I didn't want to feel so disconnected, because I didn't want to feel so isolated, because I didn't know how to deal with all of the pain and the emotion that I was going through at that time. And all of the stuff that I had been suppressing for so many years started bubbling to the surface. I had already started my spiritual awakening. And for those of you who are new to the concept of spiritual awakening, it is really about awakening to who you truly are. And when that happens, all of your stuff wants to come to the surface. Up until that time, we do a great job of trying to cope and suppress what we don't want to look at, the pain from our past. So those were 2 things for me. What I started to do besides the process of working on myself, I had to start shifting things that I did that revolved around alcohol. So for me to change my relationship with alcohol really actually took a lot, and it was definitely not a straight line. But one of the things that I had to work on was changing habits. So I have always been somebody who really likes going to the gym. I like training with weights. I like working out. I like that type of physical activity. And I had convinced myself that I could only work out in the morning because that's when I had the most energy. And maybe that's true, maybe that's not true. I did discover that I do have energy to work out in the afternoon, later in the afternoon. But I could not be honest with myself and realize my truth that I didn't want to work out in the afternoon because I wanted to drink. And so I really had to take a good hard look at that. And even though I didn't go and work out in the afternoon, what I did do was not pour that glass of wine as a way to self-soothe that feeling of loneliness, separation, and isolation. Instead, what I did is I went for a walk, anything that took me out of where I was living, and it got me out and around people. And what I discovered was there was a pocket of time that if I could get through that time frame, I didn't have that desire to have alcohol after that time frame. So that's something that I discovered for myself, which really helped. So I interrupted the habit I had formed of drinking right after work. I had to go out and do something else. I was really fortunate that I lived right by the ocean at the time, and I could walk along the beach and just be in the fresh air and de-stress. I still had to do the work because when you spend time with yourself, things start to come up. You may have heard me say in other videos, if you've been following me for a little while, that we're not here to just cope with life. We are here to thrive and to have life experiences and to grow and evolve to our fullest potential. And that doesn't mean that everything is always wonderful in our life. If everything was always wonderful in our lives, we wouldn't have the same amount of growth as we do when we have to overcome challenges and obstacles. It's through our pain and through our challenges that we do become stronger, that we do become more connected to ourselves. We know ourselves better through our pain and by overcoming challenges. So by understanding why we do what we do, by embracing self-love, by embracing the healing journey to discover and heal the parts of ourselves that are causing us so much discomfort, so much stress, so many feelings of unworthiness and feeling like we're not enough. A lot of people really suffer with that. I know myself, I did as well. It's very liberating when we look at all of those aspects of ourselves and we heal them and we find forgiveness for ourselves and for others. It frees us to live the type of life that we want to live, because the type of life that we live where we're dependent on alcohol or a substance, we will never find full peace and satisfaction in a life that involves overconsumption of those things. And if you're ready to start this journey, I am here for you every step of the way. And if you are ready to take that next step, I would like to offer you a complimentary breakthrough session with me. And during this call, we talk all about you. We talk about what's going on for you, what your challenges are, where you are now, where you want to be, and we create a roadmap, like a recovery plan for you to follow. And it's based on my self-love framework that I created and that I myself actually used without even really realizing it. So if that is something of interest to you, I have left a link in the description box below, and I hope that you found some value in this video. If you did, and then please subscribe to my channel, like this video, leave a comment below. Let me know what's going on in your life, and let me know what type of videos I can create for you that you find might be helpful. So until I see you on the next video, take good care. Know that you are loved. I believe in you. Bye for now.